John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hello, my name is John Ulzheimer, and I am a consumer credit expert. I have spent time at both FICO and Equifax. This is my 29th year in the consumer credit industry. Today I'm going to actually combine two topics. I'm going to combine Metro 2 and also with the consumer dispute resolution process and kind of weave them together as part of today's vlog. The Fair Credit Reporting Act is the federal statute that confers a variety of rights to consumers as it pertains to their personal credit reports. One of those rights, among many others, is the right to challenge information on your credit reports that you believe is incorrect. The information that appears on your credit reports is furnished to the three national credit reporting agencies, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, by a variety of organizations that are all collectively referred to as data furnishers. And those companies include banks, credit unions, finance companies, auto lenders, mortgage loan servicers, student loan servicers, and debt collectors. So collectively, these companies furnish information to the credit reporting agencies every single month, and that's the information that's the basis for your credit reports. There are about 16,000 companies that do this on a monthly basis, according to the CFPB. You have the right to challenge information on your credit reports that you believe is incorrect. This is a right that you've enjoyed for many decades. It does not cost anything for you to challenge information. Let me explain to you what happens when you challenge information with a credit reporting agency. That is referred to in the credit industry as an indirect dispute. So instead of going directly to the bank or directly to the credit card issuer or directly to the debt collector to dispute something, you go indirectly to them through a credit reporting agency, hence the term indirect dispute. When you file a dispute with the credit reporting agencies, the credit reporting agencies have an obligation to perform a reasonable investigation into your claims. This generally includes contacting the furnishing party and asking them if there is any validity to your particular dispute. So let me explain how it works. You will challenge information on your credit report. The credit reporting agency will essentially take your dispute and homogenize it into a code. It's called a dispute code. And that dispute code is meant to capture the nature of your particular dispute. They will then send a form called an ACDV, an Automated Consumer Dispute Verification Form, through a communication protocol called eOscar. And essentially, think of eOscar as just a telephone line between the credit bureaus and the companies that furnish information to them. And so the credit bureaus will transmit this ACDV dispute form through eOscar to the furnishing party, and then the furnishing party on their end will essentially log into their eOscar account, and they will see a queue with all of the dispute forms, ACDVs, that are waiting to be quote-unquote worked. All right. The language that you, as a furnisher, report information to the credit reporting agencies is called Metro 2. Metro 2 is an industry standard credit reporting language. There is no other Metro language. Metro 1, or the predecessor, has been retired. So the only way that any company can report anything to a credit bureau is in the Metro 2 language. Metro 2 is essentially a series of alphanumeric and alphanumeric characters, and all of those characters go into specified fields on a credit report and mean certain things. The Metro 2 language is communicated through the credit reporting agency's trade association, the CDIA, the Consumer Data Industry Association, through a manual called the CRRG, or the Credit Reporting Resource Guide. It's about 290 pages thick. You'll also notice that people in the credit industry tend to speak in acronyms because everything I'm talking about has an acronym. When the data furnisher receives the ACDV through eOscar, the form itself is, in fact, the Metro 2 language, even though the fields do have descriptors, so first name, middle name, address, balance, late payments, things like that, various codes. Those codes are all straight out of the Metro 2 language. And so when a furnisher gets the dispute form and can see it, they can also see the dispute code. And so let's just say hypothetically that the consumer states that the information does not belong to them. It's a very common dispute. The furnisher will see on the dispute form, consumer states not his or hers, please confirm all ID. And so it's up to the furnisher to then go into their essentially master file or core system and verify that the identification information matches the information on the consumer's credit reports or the account. And also, if they want to go a little bit further than that, they can certainly view the original loan documents to ensure that there's a signature or that the name appears. It's reasonable to believe that the information actually does belong to the consumer. So the furnishing party will then verify that the information is accurate, that it actually does belong to the consumer, and then send the ACDV form back to the credit reporting agencies, again, through eOscar, and then the credit reporting agencies will then update the account to indicate that it's been verified, and then send the consumer a copy of the report. All right, so as it pertains to Metro 2, let's just say hypothetically that the dispute was not about the identification of the account, but it was about some attribute of the account. The balance, late payments, any sort of narrative statements that indicate the account is delinquent. Those are all Metro 2 codes, and these codes can be modified by the furnishing party. And so if the dispute form that is received by the furnisher or the bank, in this case, indicates that the balance is wrong, then there's a field on the credit report in Metro 2 called current balance. And obviously that's supposed to indicate the current balance of the account as of the date of the account information. And so if the furnisher sees that the balance is reading $500, but they look into the system and see that the balance is actually $200, then they can absolutely go into that particular field in Metro 2 on the ACDV form, update the balance to show $200 or indicate that it's $200 rather than $500, and then they can transmit that back to the credit reporting agency again over eOscar. And the credit reporting agency will essentially see that there is a change that needs to be made to the information, and they can actually go into the system, into their own system, and update that balance from $500 to $200. And so what this will result in is it will essentially result in a correction or a change to the information on the consumer's credit report. And then when the credit reporting agency then provides the consumer with the updated copy of their report, it will show that the results of their investigation was that the balance was updated to $500 to $200, and the consumer presumably is happy with that because they indicated that the balance was incorrect in the first place. This entire process that I just explained, this eOscar, the ACDV form, the Metro 2 codes that are the language that's communicated back and forth between the credit bureaus and the furnishing parties, these are all universal, meaning that I could give you this example, the same example for Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and the process really is no different. eOscar is universally used across all three bureaus. The ACDV form is the industry standard form. Metro 2 is the industry standard language, and so this doesn't really vary credit bureau to credit bureau. And then the final thing before I let you go is that this entire process that I just explained is free, meaning that there is no bill that's going to come to the consumer. They don't have to pay for this process to dispute information and have it corrected. This is a right that's conferred to you under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or the FCRA, that this process is going to be free to the consumer, which will include the updated copy or the indication of the results of the reinvestigation on the back end when the process is complete. So I hope you learned something today. I apologize for throwing a bunch of acronyms at you, but that's the credit industry. We speak in those terms, and those are the common terms that are used, and so it's a good idea to at least become familiar with them. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.